right, I'll tell you what is good stuff. Eagles getting to 5-0, and the Eagles head coach, of course, Nick Sirianni, joins us on a weekly basis, typically on Tuesday. And let's welcome the Eagles head coach. Of course, it was a very, 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 very tough night last night in Philadelphia sports with the Phillies loss, but hope is still there. And let's talk to the Eagles head coach, Nick Sirianni. Good morning, Nick.
Hey, good morning, guys. How y'all doing?
We're doing all right.
Nick.
Trying to pick out the pieces on the Phils last night. You know how it goes. Nick, before we even get to that, let me say this to you. God bless your family, man. I mean, we heard what you said Sunday after the game about your father. We heard what you said yesterday in the press conference about your father. Publicly, willing to share some of the realities that he's dealt with and your family's dealt with. And I'll say this. It sounds like your father is obviously an extremely, extremely special person.
Yeah. Oh, shoot. I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, he is. Shoot, you learn from great people, and I've learned from him. So tough dude, and he's fought through every step of the way. And we're one of the lucky families that can see the light at the end of the tunnel of a long road with cancer, and hopefully that inspires other people that are going through it right now.
Good, excellent, Nick. Let's get to the Eagles in a moment, but let me just ask you: football coach Monday, preparing for a game on Sunday. Did you get a chance to peek in on the Phillies last night?
We there's TVs all in our meeting room, so of course we had it on in the background, and we're cheering them on, as it went along. So, we were completely locked into what we were doing, but baseball's got enough downtime where you can be talking about a play, pause and pause yourself, and then look at watch the pitch. And we were into the game yesterday, and look forward to continue watching them as they continue their journey.
Nick Sirianni here with us. All right, Nick, let's get to the Rams game and your squad. I take notes during the game, not too many, as I don't want to get too bogged down, but I take some notes. And one of the things I wrote in the third quarter on Sunday was the following. I wrote, Nick Sirianni teams have a remarkable ability to take control of a game. Now, obviously not always, and certainly talent helps you do that a lot, but it reminds me a lot of Floyd Mayweather. Methodical. Can you describe how you and your squad have developed this incredible tendency, it seems, to feel out a game, feel out an opponent, and often take control of it as you go?
Yeah. First and foremost, it starts with our players. The type of players that we have, the character of guys we have, our culture, right? Of one play at a time. So that all plays into it. It's coaches making adjustments throughout the game, right? It's the players helping the coaches make adjustments throughout the game, because we have these phenomenal players that aren't only high-level football players, but high-level football IQ guys, right, that are able to, we're not out there. We're seeing what's happening, but they're able to give us a point of view from what's happening out on the field, and what they're feeling and what they're seeing. So that communication's very key. And then it's just the, like you said, methodical, approach to our process, of what we do on a daily basis and growing on a daily basis. And so you're in the practice habits that we have. So you're ready for those scenarios. Michael Jordan talked a lot about hey, I'm going to go, and Kobe Bryant, I'm going to go as hard as I possibly can in practice and put myself in uncomfortable situations in practice, in attempts to make the game easier. Well, we test those guys in practice. They test themselves by competing hard against each other. And so it all goes back to the entire process that you have and then the type of players that you have.
Was this team more emotional on the sideline in this one? It seemed like there was a lot going on. Maybe we just saw a lot more of it on the TV copy, Nick, but did you feel like there was just a higher level of, I don't know, raw nerves going on? And is that a concern moving forward?
No, I think this game is full of emotion. As long as you can control that emotion from one play to the next, right? Football also has these breaks in it, right? And so there's breaks in it within, offense going to defense, and there's breaks in it from the 40-second clock, right? And so you have some moments to be emotional, as long as you can channel that and then go back to the next play mentality. I'd like to say this, okay, well, we had some emotional moments in that game. Well, I'm emotional. Like, so and I understand that when our players are going to be emotional, it's an emotional game. And I just think as long as the emotion doesn't carry over from play to play to play, emotion's a good thing. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be challenging, right? It's supposed to, like, I talk a lot about our culture here in the sense of you can have great relationships, have a ton of fun, and still be highly, highly demanding. And so that's what that is. Some of the emotion is having a ton of fun. Some of the emotion is, hey, we're being demanding as coaches, as players, right, of each other. We expect a lot out of each other. And so, but just go to the next play after that. And so I think that's healthy. I think that's good. I want that as our culture is in the Philadelphia Eagles. So I love that. I love that. And, again, it's all in the attempts of getting better. It's all in the attempts of enjoying ourselves. We're out here, and it's all, the demanding part about getting better.
Nick, you mentioned adjustments. You mentioned culture. How this is such a unique situation with Bradley Roby because in my mind he was a big part of the adjustments in the second half for the defense. And here's a guy who just entered our culture. You talk about connecting all the time. How in the world could you be connected enough with Bradley Roby after just 5 days here in Philadelphia to trust him to that degree? And how do you could you flesh out that whole unique situation?
Yeah, sure. Again, the culture here, because of the guys that we have, is contagious, right? And so you feel it right away. You feel the energy. You feel the fun that we have. You feel the demand that we have and everything right away. And so, he's been on good teams. He's won a Super Bowl, right? And so he's been on really good defenses. So he knows what that's like. But that goes to the player. And again, are we fully connected? No, we've only known him for 5 days, right? But he, I know the guys have worked hard to already get in there and get to know him. I mean, this isn't the first time that's happened. I mean, if you think back to last year, we signed Cam Dicker to a contract, and next thing you know, everyone's lifting him up on their shoulders because he hits the game-winning kick, right?
Dicker the kicker.
Yeah, right. Same thing when we brought Linval and Sue in here last year. Like it's just a special group of guys. Again, are we completely there with Roby as far as being completely connected? No, we're gonna. That's a work in progress. We're always working on that.
Are you connected enough to know that he has sort of solidified the slot?
Well, and we don't have to make that decision right now. He did a nice job in the game. He's still working himself into play shape. We got some other good options there that we like. Sidney Brown was out last week, and we'll see how that goes. But we definitely like the experience that he gives us, and we'll continue to work, and he's going to be a big part of what we do, and we'll just see how the rest of the week plays out heading into this week.
Nick Sirianni with us, as he is on a weekly basis, brought to us by Bud Light. Make sure you join Ava Graham and Delco this Sunday at JT Brewski's for a Bud Light Eagles pregame party. Win tickets to the next Eagles home game and sign merchandise as well. Of course, that again is this Sunday. Nick, let's talk about.
That sounds like a good time.
It does. You busy that? You busy that day? You want to?
I have not been to that, but shoot, that sounds like a good time.
Yeah, I'd prefer
I'm just adding an extra promotion into it.
JT Brewski's. Sirianni's there on Sunday. No,
man, I want to go to JT Brewski's.
There you go. All right, so Nick, let's get to the use of the running backs, and it really struck me after the last game, and I kind of added it up across the team and the league. DeAndre Swift is amongst the league leaders in touches. Now, this comes after last year. My opinion, you might disagree, but I thought Miles Sanders wore down in the postseason, and it affected his postseason performance. I'm curious, when you hear these numbers, Swift, 91 touches, Gainwell, 47, Boston Scott, 7, Rashad Penny, 4. Do you think that there is a chance you are overusing Swift and might need to dial it back to keep him fresh for the long haul?
Yeah, that's a valid point. We think a lot about that and think a lot about the touches. I know Kenny's getting a lot of work. I thought Kenny Gainwell actually played an outstanding game the other day. It's an unsung. It kind of not always that was noticed, right? His protections, his physicality. I don't know if you go back and watch that tape. He did a lot of things to disrupt The offensive line obviously did their job on Aaron Donald, preventing him to get to the quarterback in the pass game, but Kenny was there just kind of being around him the entire time too and being kind of a pest to him. And, so I thought that was really good. As far as DeAndre goes, we're trying to get him touches, right, both in the run game and in the pass game. But we also understand that we want to be able to spread it around just like we do as a wide receiver group and a tight end group. We also want to do that with the run game as well. But we will ride the hot hand. And DeAndre's had the hot hand. That's just the way it's been. And if Kenny gets a hot hand, we'll ride his hand, right? And if Boston gets a hot hand, we'll ride that hand, right? And so that goes in ebbs and flows. And DeAndre's just been playing really well, and we want to give him touches. I think what we think a lot about is how we, preserve the guys throughout the entire season isn't just a game day decision. I think that your question is very valid, but it's also what we do with them in practice. And hey, when is the time to walk through because the guys are hurting a little bit? When is the time to give them Monday off? To make sure that they're resting. When's the time to start later in the week? When's the time to pull back and cut their reps in practice? All not only as a group, as a team, but also as individuals. Everybody has an individualized plan, and so we're thinking a lot about that Monday through Saturday. So we're able to go all out and do what we need to do to win every game on Sunday. And so. Which is you guys aren't going to be able to see that because as far as that goes, you're just going to see Sunday, and that's okay. But that's why you asked me the question, and so that's a thing that's managed consistently Monday through Saturday. Everybody in our strength and conditioning staff and our training staff does an excellent job. I'm not the expert at this, right? And so it's my job to be able to listen to the experts at this and sort out what's best for the team and what's best for each individual guy throughout the week of practice to make sure that we give us our best chance to have these guys healthy. And listen, y'all know, injuries happen sometimes because of overwork, but a lot of times they happen because of just freak accidents. And so if you're lucky enough, you're hoping you're doing the right things Monday through Saturday to give your guys the best chance to stay healthy.
Nick, you've said that 2 out of 5 in the red zone is not good enough. You've said a big part of the problem in the red zone production is early down production. Why are the early downs underproducing, and how do you fix first and second down so we're in third and more manageable?
Yeah, no doubt. Because that's exactly how it is in the field too. It's just everything shrinks, right? I think about how many times, I think this brotherly shove play is getting so much play because we're in 3rd and 1 so much. We're in 4th and 1 so much. Like it's not, I think that's where this is getting hyped up a little bit is like, man, why the Eagles are doing this better than everybody else and they're doing it a lot. Why? Well, because we're in 3rd and 1 a lot. We're in 4th and 1 a lot. And so it's where we need to get to in the red zone so we can utilize that play or utilize whatever play we need necessary to continue the drive. And so it's always a combination of things, right? Where you're going to, when you're in this growth mindset, everyone's got to look in the mirror first and say, what am I doing that's contributing to this? And so this is accountability, right? And all our guys are looking in the mirror, starting with us as coaches and saying, man, I think we talked a lot last week about the 3rd and 8 call or 11 call or whatever it was where we ran it, right? In that particular case, it's not always about just what the play call is at the time. Sometimes that's part of it, right? So sometimes it's what the call was on 3rd and 8 or what the call was on 3rd and 11, but also what the plan is throughout the week, right? Is like, hey, did we put our guys in the best possible spots, not just on this 3rd down call, but as far as scheme goes, right? And so we're going to want a couple scheme calls back that we didn't love as we looked at it from the game. We're going to want a couple calls back from the down and distance calls. Hey, what did you call on 1st and 10? What did you call on 3rd and 8? Whatever it was. And then there's an execution part of it as well. And so, when you're not doing well in a specific area, you're always searching to see exactly what it is. But I think what it's been is just a combination of, we got to put the guys in positions to succeed. Just how I explained it right there. We got to execute a little bit better. We're working like crazy to make sure we fix that because and give some credit to the defense too, right? I mean, it's not they're professionals as well and doing a good job and having a good plans there as well and changing some schemes up. That happens at times too, where the schemes change a little bit, obviously. But we're working like crazy to get it because we know, like, hey, like that could have been a lot different of a game, right? If we finish those red zone plays,
sure.
Look, and so we're working like crazy to do that. We'll spend a lot of time on it. We've already spent time on it even before our red zone day of game planning as coaches, just because we know we got to get it fixed.
Yeah. Nick, final thing here. When you throw that headset down, like you did after the Quez play, does it ever break?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah.
How many you think you've broken?
So then it's equipment.
Sudden
change. Sudden change. Someone bring me something here.
It is a sudden change. I got to maybe take Kevin Patullo's headset or something. I got to get somebody's headset if it does that. I can't give you a number. Do I lead the league in broken headsets? Maybe. I might.
Did you ever think, Nick?
But I can't remember the last time I've had one.
It
didn't break this week. I'll tell you that.
Good man. Would you ever think what did the headset do to me? Just think about the headset the next time.
There is a great picture that I have at my house of my dad screaming and yelling. I don't know who he's yelling at. It's 1970s. He's got a Fu Manchu. He's got these long sideburns. He's got plaid pants on. He's got the Southwestern Trojans football shirt, and the headset's laying on the ground. All right, so I learned it from somewhere, and obviously I learned it from him.
There you go. Well, that's a good person to learn from. Nick, congratulations on 5-0. Good luck versus the Jets on Sunday. We look forward to talking to you next week.
Thanks, guys. Always a pleasure.
All right, there he is,
Nick.
Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni. All right, a little diversion there from the Phils, which has obviously been our main thing today. Coming back, all the calls on the Phils, all the issues from last night and where they go from here. You want to react to the Sirianni interview, certainly you can as well. Joe DeCamera and John Ritchie on WIP.